Perfect outfit. Step 2, ruin it. Step 3, keep your cool because you booked your ride ahead. Introducing Uber Reserve. Get your ride right.
Now rapping basketball, number one, Curtis Blow. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court, just like I'm picking on the microphone. So it's Dr. J and Moses Malone. I like slam dunks and taking it to the hole. My favorite play is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spittin' Sports with your host, the one and only Marlon Jackson, along with me, my other co-host, Mr. Mark King. Today we're going to bring you guys a couple of different topics that we just been discussing over the last few weeks while watching football and enjoying these World Series. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. The first thing we kind of had an idea was kind of like the fan base, and I'll go ahead and let my co-host take this one, but I'll go ahead and open to the topic. Um, I think the biggest reason why the Commanders are losing, and this is just me saying this is my opinion, and you guys can agree to disagree, is because when you have a home field and you have more away team players at a home game, I feel like it kind of messes with the players' mentality and how they function on the field and how they play, because that can kind of, put I guess you can say a toll on certain players and how they perform when every game you play, it's going to be more fans of the other team than it is your home team fans. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let my coach see what he thinks about that topic, and we can kind of go from there.
I don't know why you open that can of worms.
That's the biggest thing from what I see, King. But maybe I could be wrong. That's just what I've seen.
So you're absolutely right. Why are there more visiting fans there than home team fans? Because they're not good. They're not good. That's number one.
But the thing is, so can you say that? So if any other team isn't good, but do we ever see any other bad teams? Stadium like how the Commander Stadium is, because we can see a lot of other bad teams, but at least they're die hard with their team. But when it comes to Washington,
the other part of that is the fact that it's the DMV area. You're close to Philadelphia. You're not that far from Charlotte. Cowboy fans travel, so they're coming. The Giants fans, that's not far. But I think because I grew up watching the Redskins as a Cowboy fan, and I say Redskins because they were back then. I know the Commanders now, but I watched them, and once upon a time there was a rivalry. There's not a rivalry anymore. If you think about it, who is a rival for the Redskins? I mean, for the Commanders. Who's the Commanders' rival?
There was the Cowboys, but it's just like now it's like
the local fan base does not care.
Because that's the thing. And see, like you said, that's the thing, because it's just like you can't really go to New York and Dallas and be, and see half the stadium Tennessee Titans fans and the other half Cowboys fans. You won't see that. You ain't gonna be able to do that in Philly, where it's diehard Philly fans who will mess you up. For wearing
you won't go to Philly. You'd rather watch the game on TV. You might go to Philadelphia and watch the game in a bar somewhere. Now you're not going to a bar either, but no, you're not.
And that's the thing, because I was thinking of it. I'm like, I'm not blaming the coaching. I'm not blaming the players. I'm blaming the fans, because if you look at it, that's like you, King. You being a star athlete, right? And you going to your home where you're comfortable playing basketball, whatever sport you play. And every time you go in there, you're seeing more of the other team's colors than your own team colors. To you, that would kind of take a toll on you after a while. As a professional athlete or as an organization.
But I think it also depends on each individual player, because you have those players who like to shut the crowd up. And the one that comes to my mind is Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he lives to shut the crowd. What did he say when he was in Chicago? I own Chicago. So he lives for that. So I don't think the Commanders have the right personality in the right position to put them in a place where, oh, when you come here, you're going to get it. Remember, the old RFK, I went one time to watch a Cowboy game. The old RFK literally used to shake. I have been in there and that building, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because
that's
that's funny
building
that you say that. Because when my dad was telling me he went to Howard, he was telling me how he could hear the game from Howard all the way from RFK Stadium when they would play.
Yes.
And I'm like, so that says a lot. See, that's what I feel like that's what the Commanders is missing. That fan base like that, them diehard fans who, get the crowd shaking
You can't be a diehard fan if they're not any good.
Yeah, but I mean,
I need you. Okay, and the funny thing about it is they went to the playoffs when they were 9-7. Went to the playoffs. Nobody cares. You were 9-7. You went to the playoffs, and your man Hughes will tell you how Heineke battled toe to toe with Tom Brady. I'm like, Hughes. Quarterbacks don't play against quarterbacks. Quarterbacks play against defenses.
Thank you. I keep trying to tell them it's not like basketball where you're playing the best guard in the game and you the best other best guy.
It doesn't work that way. But I mean, so I'm surprised he hadn't blown everybody up and won the Taylor Heineke now. Because Carson Wentz, let's just be clear, is not a top 15 quarterback.
He's not. I don't even put him in as a top. I don't even put him in as a top 20. Right now, he's probably like a number 30 or the 50.
Do you know a top 15 quarterback that has this level of incompetent blocking?
No.
They are horrible. Now, the Rams blocking is horrible too. Because I'm a Cowboy fan, so I've been watching the games. And
but when you look at the Commanders, do you look at the Commanders team? Do you think that it's Wentz that's not getting the ball to these guys, or do you just think it's the guys that's not protecting him to be able to make plays the way he's supposed to? Because you got to think, like, he doesn't start scoring until the second half of the game. Then the fans are just out of it. They lead. Then it's just like,
let's just imagine everything is 100%. 51% of this problem is Carson Wentz, because Frank White, the coach of the Colts, let him go after signing him for 1 year. Frank White was his quarterback coach in Philly and brought him to the Colts to play. If he's going to let him go, I'm not touching him. So 51% is Carson Wentz. And when I watched the game, they were talking about it. They said, you know what? Carson Wentz is dropping back too deep. So now your tackles are expecting you to do a 5-step drop, but you 7 steps. So now the defensive end can beat you around that corner and get the sack. But as a tackle, I'm expecting you to be in spot A, you in spot B. So that's why I say, I would have to give 51% of that to him. But I mean, the offensive line is not good. They have very good wide receivers.
Oh yeah, they right now. I would say out of everybody in the NFL, they probably are the team with the top 3 receivers in the league. I'm not saying they're number 1 in the league with the receivers, but I'm saying they do have.
I'm glad you didn't go that far with that foolishness.
I ain't saying it like that, but I'm saying if you look at like the team, they do have the top receivers, like in the NFL. I'm not saying they're number 1 and 2, but I'm saying they are.
But can't nobody get them the ball?
Exactly. That's the thing. You can be the greatest person ever. If nobody ain't get you the ball, ain't heard of you, it's like it's hard to really perform.
You got Philly. Philly got good wide receivers. Kansas City got good wide receivers.
Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay got good wide receivers. With Julio and
Miami. I think that wide receiver core is top 10.
And then when you look at the Redskins, like you said, with Samuels and Lauren, and then that rookie they got Dotson. You got a couple pieces in there, but it's just
they are top 10. I'm interested to see when they go to Sam Howell from UNC.
That's what I'm waiting for. But do you think that it's too late for them to turn around the season? Because what are we going into week 6 now of the NFL season? Or do you think it's kind of like they might as well just start getting ready for next season as far as like how this play is going? Because it doesn't seem like it's going too much anywhere now or going further than where it is.
The good thing about it is Thursday they have the Bears. The Bears are horrible.
Now, if they can't beat another horrible team, I don't know what to tell you.
The Bears are horrible. Oh, I mean,
like I said, I remember the Bears being good
wide receivers. I think the wide receiver group the Commanders have is probably second in this division behind Philly, because Philly got the boy from Tennessee.
Yeah,
They
AJ
got
Brown, and they got
Devontae
that
Parker, and they
Devontae
got a
Smith
killer tight end.
and they got Watkins. Yeah, and then they got our boy from Wise that's on there.
As a wide out?
Yeah, as a wide receiver.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got Zachary Pascal as a receiver.
Oh, I didn't know they had Zach. You know how Zach was in middle
he got
school.
traded to Philly, and he plays for Philly now. So.
Man, when I had Zach in middle schools, I made Zach so mad one day. Zach was in 7th grade. Zach has always been very smart.
Yeah.
And I was trying to build an 8th grade algebra class.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach was very smart. I said, Zach, I'm gonna put you in this 8th grade algebra class. He said, I'm not gonna go in there. I said, what you mean you're not going in there? I'm not going in there. I said, oh, okay. Let me tell some people over 12. So I called his mother. His mother came up there. We sat in the office. I explained, I was like, look, Zach is smart. Zach can go to algebra. He can get his high school credit in the 8th grade if he wanted to worry about that. She's like, so when Zach was like, listen, Ma, I don't have to take that right now, man. I can just take basic math, man, and be good, blah, blah, blah. She looked at me. I said, he can get a high school credit, take algebra. She looked at him, you got to take algebra. Done. He was mad, but he understood. But I mean, but those are the tough calls you have to make. But I didn't know they had Zach. Zach is good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because when he was with the Colts, I was like, that's what they did. They the Colts dropped him when they picked up Matt Ryan, and then he got traded to.
Why are the Colts horrible? Why are the Colts horrible?
That's
off topic though. What topic are we supposed to talk about? We
good, but no, we were just dealing with the fan base, and as far as like the Commanders getting their season turned around, because like at the end of the day, I was like you said, I'm with you, 51% Carson Wentz. I think out of that 49%, I feel like that can be split up because, like you said, I feel like part of that goes with the organization and coaching staff, and the other half goes with not having that support with your fan base behind you, to even if you win or lose, you're still gonna be a diehard fan. That's like you, King. You're a diehard Knicks fan until the end of time. So
I'm gonna ask you a dumb question. What would happen if they just ran the ball?
Like every game? You mean like every play or just?
Listen, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm watching Cooper Rush. I'm watching him go 10 for 18 for 100 yards, but I've run the ball 32 times. When you run the ball, you shorten the game. Every time you run the ball, the clock keeps running.
And if you think about it,
I don't understand, to your point, why the coaching staff is putting the ball in Carson Wentz's hands. What are you doing?
But you know what I think they keep basing it off of, and this is why I gotta feel like, and like you said, you're a former coach yourself. You got to stop basing off of what I guess you can say the good seasons they had those previous years in the league. Because if you keep basing it somebody's career off of that, that's all you're gonna know them for. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. He was an MVP 2018. He helped Philly get to the Super Bowl, but he didn't play in it and do anything. Cool, that happened. That was 4 years ago. What has he done from them 4 years till now? I'm
a Bill Parcells fan. I'm not Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick fan. Bill Belichick will cut you 1 year early.
Mm-hmm.
You might go to the next team and have an all-pro season, but you can fall off a cliff. Bill is already seeing that. I will cut you a year early. The only time he's been wrong was Tom Brady, and he was just 1 year off. Because look at Tom right now. That's horrible. That's horrible. Yeah, 1 year early rather than 1 year late. So now it's just like Cowboys. They pay players for past performance, not future performance, and that's the wrong way to do it. Because the Redskins have Gibson. I mean, the Commanders have Gibson, and what's the other boy?
Who's that dude? They just get picked. They got back from injury. Robinson. They just picked up
Brian Robinson. Played for Alabama. SEC football. He gonna hit the hole. If nothing else happens, he gonna hit the hole. And if somebody miss a tackle, somebody gonna get a stiff arm. You might have 12 to 15 yards.
And what the thing is, King, what I always talk about is if you look at the Cowboys and Redskins from past and present and previous history, their run game is what got them to a lot of these playoffs and these wins. So why not stick with it? They
got Hall of Fame backs. Hughes was mad the other day talking about if it was 4th and 1 on the goal line, like the Commanders just had, I wouldn't be throwing the ball and handing the ball to John Drake.
You throw that right there, and you have Alabama, like you said, the Alabama running back who can run that ball to the outside, up the middle, and get you that 1 yard.
Hit the hole, son.
It's the same thing Seattle
hit the hole.
The same thing. That's the same thing Seattle did in the Super Bowl against the Patriots when they threw the ball instead of running with Marshawn Lynch, who's been killing them all game, running the ball.
And Richard Sherman's still mad. Richard Sherman's still mad.
He could have had his second ring.
Mad. He's still mad. You're absolutely right. Listen, I understand you got no timeouts and it's 22 seconds on the clock. It doesn't take that long to line up and run the ball. Y'all get back up here a lot. I'd have ran it 3 straight times. If you stop me 3 straight times, you're supposed to win the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you stop me 3 straight times, if you stop me on all 3 of my possessions, there's no way I should win this game.
And if you stop me 3 straight times, I'm gonna be looking for offensive linemen.
What are y'all doing?
I'm gonna be looking for offensive linemen. No. I'm Eric Flowers. I'm gonna call you. Come on, man. I know we let you go last year, man. That's clearly a mistake. Come on, man. Get these $2 million for the rest of this year. Yes. Ridiculous.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm just like, because they should have won that game against Tennessee. They should have won that game against, in my opinion, against Detroit. But they started off late scoring. They didn't start scoring until the second half. And it's just like,
who goes down 22-3 to the Lions? This is not the Barry Sanders Lions.
This is not the Calvin Johnson Lions and the Matthew Stafford Lions.
This is Jared Goff. we made Jared Goff look like he's a Pro Bowler. Jared Goff? Now, I do like DeAndre Swift, the running back.
Yeah.
I saw him play at Georgia. He's a good back.
Yeah, I like that because he's quick, too, and he's small, and he's versatile. He reminds me of like Darren Sproles and Michael Turner with how small how he
Did you see the size of the holes he's running through? I'm like, and I mean, now I understand Chase Young is out. I get it.
Yeah.
But Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Sweat. I can't. I really can't give you a pass, but I do understand.
Yeah. So I think then look at it like this thing, King, before we get to the next topic. So look at it like this. If it wasn't for, I guess you could say, the way that Ron Rivera runs this team, do you think they kind of would have had a different outcome of the record they would have had? Because if you think about this record they had, they're 1-5, right? Or 1-4. If you look at the teams they had, they should at least been 3-2 or 2-3, depending on how they play. When you look at the last 5 games they played, starting with Jacksonville and ending with Tennessee. You played 2 division games, and then you played 3 games outside of your conference.
No. The problem with the Commanders is Ron Rivera is a good coach. He's not a good general manager. If you think about it, you don't have the horses. You're supposed to lose to Jacksonville. You don't have the horses that Philly has. You don't have the horses that the Giants, Philly, and the Cowboys can live with the injury. The Commanders can't. If somebody gets injured, it's a major issue, and it causes this kind of problem. How the Cowboys 4-0 with a backup quarterback?
And that causes discombobulation with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I feel like it happened. Yeah. Now, here's where it goes to the other topic, King, and this is where I probably will have you take over, and I'll follow behind you. Now, when it comes to injuries and, to I guess you could say a franchise player, as a coach, is it smart to continue with the hot hand that's got you there? Or is it smart to put your franchise player back in after he's been out for a certain amount of months or weeks or, games when it comes down to it, depending on the season?
So the backup quarterback is winning games.
Yeah, like let's say like your Cowboys, like you said, Cooper Rush is winning.
There's no reason to rush the starter back. Make sure the starter is fully healthy because he's the starter. Because
if you look at it, King, who do y'all got next? Well, you got Philly next, right? So it's like, do you really want to take Cooper Rush into Philly and trust what he's done, even though he's won 4 games, or do you go with Dak and put him in, even though he's been out for a month and a half with the thumb injury, and start over Philly?
You go with Cooper Rush and the same plan that you had. You're going to run the ball 30 times. He's going to throw the ball 18 times, and you're going to play good defense. Listen, Bill Parcells took Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler and O.J. Anderson to Super Bowls and won.
That's
with
all
that
I'm like
same
shocked.
roster.
I'm like Phil Simms. I was like, a lot of people you don't even hear Phil Simms anymore. And it's like,
That's why Phil Simms on TV now. Phil Simms was not a good quarterback. Look, there's a clip where Bill Parcells tells Simms, just run. I call the plays, just run the damn play.
oh
I don't
wow,
need all that from you. Just run the play.
yeah.
Run the play. So my point is, if you play good defense, you run the ball,
Mhm.
you shorten the game because when you with an incomplete pass, stop the clock. If you run the ball, the clock keeps running. So your defense gets the rest. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna play action when we need to. Like I
Mhm.
said, the boy threw for 102 yards the other night. Hilarious.
Yeah, but I think now this might be a team, like you said, that might challenge him more than the last, 4 teams he's played.
Oh, I don't think the Cowboys are going to win.
Yeah, you know what
Oh,
I'm saying. But this is gonna be
look,
a hell of a
you are
game.
going to Philly. Let's just
Yeah.
be clear. That's not LA with the Rams. Yeah, that's
That's not
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. That ain't all that. That
No.
ain't Tampa Bay.
Right. You are going to Philly where they have jail cells in the stadium.
Built for fans like that.
Because those fans are like that. Everybody knows. Yeah, don't get locked up today because I'm not coming back to get you till tomorrow.
And see, now knowing that Cooper Rush has probably never played, at Philly like that to understand how that works.
He hasn't. But I'm not about to rush the long-term future for a short-term
of your
game.
franchise. Yeah, if you're a franchise player for one game,
you just be 4-2 because that Philly defense is good too. Those
yeah,
DBs,
like you said, y'all have one of the 2 best defenses in your conference.
You play with Darius Slay or Bradbury if you want to. You end up with a pick 6. So I know what we're gonna do.
And then you got them. Then Dallas has Diggs and what's his name on the other side. So it's like now it's gonna be a battle of the defenses and a battle of the offenses.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, and to answer your question, I don't rush the quarterback back, but the process is what has won the game, not the player. So even when Dak comes back, still run the ball 25, 30 times a game.
But you don't think Philly's gonna know that though after they've been watching our last 4 games? They're like, they know he's not gonna throw the ball. We know he's gonna
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. You try to hit. That's when you try to hit CeeDee Lamb on crossing routes. Crossing routes are hard to cover, especially if you're in man-to-man.
Yeah.
And you take 1 or 2 deep shots to Michael Gallup. They got against the Commanders. They got what 2 or 3 pass interference on deep shots with Michael Gallup.
Every single
right down there, field goal range, kick a field goal because we can't score. Let's right down there, get it. But I mean, that's the way you had to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like I said, 100%. I just think the only time I feel like you have to rush a franchise player back, I guess it's like for when it's titles on the line or when it comes to like making.
If it was the playoffs, I'm sorry. I'm gonna look if you can grip that football, I need to go out there.
Even though, like you said, he's in that. Even though, like you said, he's in that system that's helping him when it's like, but it comes down to playoffs. It's like this is where we need to actually, get over the hump.
Yeah. But
that's the same thing I was thinking.
Nobody's been 4-1 out of Cooper Rush. I wasn't.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with what's that Browns quarterback? Because now that Watson's gonna be back this week after sitting out his suspension.
No, I thought he was out for 11 games.
Nah, he was. Remember, he was out the last 5 games of last season, and then he was out.
Oh, they counted those games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's slick.
Yeah.
That's slick. That's foul, but that's slick.
Yeah, that's what they did. Remember, he was sitting out Eric King the last season, the last 5
Yeah, but
games.
he was sitting out.
But they counted that as towards like part of his suspension.
Boo NFL. Boo NFL. That's bad business.
Yeah,
that's slick, but he chose to sit out. That was a choice. He didn't want to play because he wanted. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know how the NFL is gonna go about that because, like I said, I was looking at the NFL today, and that's what I was reading about, and they said he's cleared to play for this Week 6 matchup that they have.
Oh, that's bad.
And to me, I'm just like, he hasn't played a down since what? Week 13 of last season. Before he had to.
It's probably been 365 days or something. It's probably been that long.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like the Browns. It's not like the Browns are gonna, go further if he comes back or not. You know what I'm saying? The Browns do have a defensive team, but I just don't see really, them going anywhere with any quarterback you put in that system.
The
You know,
problem with the Browns is the defense.
yeah.
That's the problem with the Browns. And
Yeah,
I'm
the Browns.
surprised about
The
that.
Browns' best thing to me is their running game. The two best running backs, Chubb and Kareem Hunt, is hands down the best running back duo to me.
Run
Right
the
now.
ball.
Run that ball.
Listen, they lost to the Chargers 30-28.
2 points.
28 points should be enough to win your game. They lost to the Jets 31-30.
1
Who
point.
lose to the Jets, but you still scored 30 points. They lost to the Falcons 23-20. Now that's an offensive issue. But yeah, come on, man. You can't. No.
So do you think Watson's gonna make a difference to help them win them close games? Because each game you just said they only won they either lost by 3 or lost by a point.
That's because your defense gave up too many points. Is Deshaun gonna go play a safety? If he gonna go play a safety, 28 points should be enough to win your game.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns should be enough to win you a
That should
game.
be enough to win your game. Like I say, I grew up with that. You dropped 30 points on the Jets. That should be enough to win your game. Now, 20 against the Falcons, okay, you might lose that. Look, 29, what is it? You can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. That's enough points to win your game. That's enough points to win your game. If I score 4 touchdowns, I'm expecting to win a football game. The same thing with the Ravens. Defense giving up all the points in the fourth quarter. You blew a 17-point lead and a 14-point lead at home.
Against the Buffalo Bills for the first one.
Now Buffalo's a whole other animal now.
And the one against the Miami Dolphins. I'm like, it just.
Yeah, Buffalo's a whole nother animal though. That's a monster.
Oh, I'm with you. But you gotta see remember who Buffalo lost to. They only lost to Miami because that was a close game, and I didn't even think they were gonna lose to Miami like that. I'm like,
but see, that just goes to show you that they're not quite ready. You have to win the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
Tough game, tight games against good competition. Like if you lose to the Ravens, ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Yeah, we could be mad at that. It's the Raiders.
You lost to the Dolphins, and Tua wasn't even playing. What are you doing? That means you playing with that's disrespecting the opponent.
That means you lost to a backup quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater with they 2 receivers they got.
Now, I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like Teddy Bridgewater, but still, yes, you lost to the backup quarterback.
And see, that's what I think. And I see that's where the Commanders get lost at. That's where I think they need to start that backup quarterback. You might as well go and put Howell in the game.
But see, when you do that, if you think they're not coming to the game now, they're not coming for real then.
But you don't think that
if it was me, I would go with Heineken. And I call him Heineken on purpose.
I would go with your third string.
Because Sam is not ready. When you put Sam in that football game, Sam has to stay in that football game for the rest of the season. And he's not ready. You can make a move on Carson Wentz to Heineken, and the fans are like, yeah, Heineken run around, throw the ball. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But once you go to Sam Howell, your rookie quarterback, that's not your quarterback. You can't take him out because now you're gonna ruin his psyche. So once you go to him, that's your quarterback. You got to go to him.
I'm with it. Like I said, I just feel like what do we have? 12 more weeks before it gets the playoffs. So I mean, something's gotta be changed because if you can't keep doing the same thing you're doing the first 5 weeks and think that that's gonna win you ball game. Because like you said, they still got to play y'all one more time. They still got to play Philly one more time. They still got the Giants twice. You got to play that Packers whole division. You got to play that Kansas City whole division. So it's just like y'all have to decide how
the Commanders are mathematically eliminated, then something will happen. Because you got people in the locker room like a Jonathan Dallas, 5-year veteran. He's like, man, I'm not throwing no games, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to go out here, man. But once you put in, like I say, once you mathematically eliminate it, cats like them like, yeah, we can't get the playoffs no way.
Yeah, and then see, you don't want to, because you got to think about it, like how you was growing up. That's like, the Knicks and the Knicks always making it to the NBA Finals, right? And then be like, man, I ain't about to play my hardest anyways. Nah, we're gonna beat them anyways, So it's like that mindset, really messes up a player and an organization. Because then it's like, as a fan, you just like, well, I don't want to come to the game because they're not really playing for real. So what am I wasting, hundreds of dollars to buy tickets when they just go sit here and not give up they best that
Right.
I've expected, coming to a game.
You got to roll Carson Wentz out there until you mathematically eliminated. Me, I would take Carson. Well, I don't know when the bye week is. I would take him out of the bye.
I think their bye week is week 9 or week 10 if I'm
I would take Carson Wentz out at the bye week, and then I'm gonna do something different.
Because think about it, Hughes. I mean, think about it, King. My bad. Think about it, King. They got the Bears next, right? Week 7, you got Green Bay, and then week 8 and 9, you got the Giants. Week 9, and I forgot who they got for week 8. I'm just like, Green Bay's not gonna lie. Green Bay offense is what's gonna kill you. It's not their defense. It's gonna be their offense for Rodgers.
And they already mad because they just lost to the Giants. They already mad. Yeah. And plus, that is Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. That's just.
And you got to think about, and they're coming into DC that game because they're going away for the Giants game, but the Packers are coming to DC. And like you said, I feel like if they can get back to that fan base that you were raised about when the Hogs were actually out there winning with them face masks in it, then I kind of feel like that's where I kind of feel like the Commanders can turn around. This organization, not just the season, but just this organization in general.
You got to win some football games. You got to, and I mean, not that they win football games, but it's sporadic.
But it's like my thing is, it's like, who do you win for? Because it's not really, you don't really have a purpose if nobody's coming to watch you. It's like, who am I really playing for? Who am I really winning for? If I'm not getting the support to go out here and play and win,
that means you're not drafted well. If you are playing for the fans to cheer for you, or you playing for the big contract, as a GM, you didn't draft well.
So I think I
need monsters who are going to go out there and play.
But I don't know, because like I said, I've never been a scout before, so I don't know what scouts look for besides just the talent aspect. I don't know if they go with the personality aspect or the attitude aspect, when you're drafting somebody at the combine, or if you're looking for drafts at the combine. It's like, how do you base it off of? Because you can't just base it off of their, their speed and agility and all that. You have to base it off of their personality. Is this somebody that can get along with the other 75 guys in the locker room? You're
not drafted well. Think about it. Like I say, I'm a Cowboy fan, but think about it. The Cowboys team is made up primarily of players that they drafted.
Mm-hmm.
They're not world beaters, but they're not 1-4. Doris Armstrong, 4th round pick out of Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really know Kansas played football?
I knew Kansas for basketball, not for really football.
Ziggy Onzawa. Was like he played at
UCLA. I'm
like a 3rd round pick. Now you got Tank Armstrong. Tank Lawrence, but he came from Boise State.
Yeah.
You got Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch came from Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
Now Diggs was a stud. Get it?
Oh yeah, Diggs is a dog. Like he's a beast.
But you got Javon Curse. You signed him as a free agent on the cheap. You got Malik Hooker. It was good at Florida State. At Ohio State, but got cut by the Colts.
Yeah, I'm like, you get cut by the Colts.
So what I'm saying is, the most of the people that they drafted, there's a guy named Willie Clay, who's in charge of drafting and scouting.
Mm-hmm.
A monster. Because like I say, most of them cats, you drafted CeeDee Lamb. How did CeeDee Lamb fall out with number 17 in the draft?
I think the biggest steal they got was when they got Parsons. That was the biggest,
and moved back to get Parsons. The Eagles moved up to get Devontae Smith, and I ain't mad now because that boy. Oof.
Yeah, but I'm like, but Parsons, that man's on a new level, man. Like for a young dude, I'm like,
and I love college football. I didn't even know it because he sat out the COVID year.
Yeah, he did. That's why I was like, who is this Micah Parsons? Everybody's getting hype about him. Like, and then when I seen him play, I'm like, okay, he's
Look,
matching him.
6'2", 245.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
oh,
you know who he remind me of? He remind me of DeMarcus Ware when DeMarcus Ware used to play with y'all when he the younger DeMarcus Ware. You know, that's his mindset because he has that edge and that speed with that. That's how I looked at it.
yeah. Well, back to your point, man. That's all a matter of not recruiting, but studying. That's why they got Payne and they got Jonathan Allen and they got Chase Young because they were bad. But other than that, who have they drafted that starts for them on defense?
Yeah,
They did draft Sweat too,
yeah. And then
but other than that,
they didn't draft IU Donis. They traded for him from the
yeah,
Rams because he
yeah.
came there to do it. So I'm like, I mean, then I'm like, your secondary is not good. I mean, Fuller's out for the season. He ain't really
Oh, is
proven.
he? I didn't know it was out for the
Yeah,
season.
yeah, he was. They just placed him on injury reserve. I'm
Yeah.
like, they were gonna take him off, but then I was like, I think he got injured at like one of their practices or one of their training camps, like trying to come back and see if he can come back early. And I'm like, that messed up. So now you have no secondary to stop the throwing game. Your front four,
And you got Aaron Rodgers coming up in 2 weeks.
your front four getting tired. They can't keep pushing through the line every game, getting double teamed. Montez Sweat's getting double teamed every time he's trying to get, through that left edge. Then you got Payne trying to get through that middle, getting double teamed. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Allen, he's trying to play them running backs and tight ends. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot. Then your secondary is no help because once they beat that front four, now it's like it's all ball game. It should be no reason why every team is dropping more than 25 points on you a game. You guys are the only team that gets all them points scored on y'all within consecutive games.
Because you have not drafted well. You have not drafted well, and Ron Rivera has to own that part. You haven't drafted well. You can't run block. Well, no, I'm sorry. You can't pass block because you don't want to pay Brandon Sheriff. I understand you don't want to give a guard all that money, but the Cowboys are going to pay Zach Martin because the worst place to get pass rush is up the middle. If you get pass rush on the ends, you can step up into the pocket.
That's fine, yeah. In the middle, you can't get nothing out of that. As soon as they call Hutton, they have to.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Jerry Jones was smart for paying that much money for his offensive line. To pay for $100 million for an offensive line, that means you trying to protect your quarterback and protect that running back.
And we trying to run the ball. We're gonna protect the quarterback, we're gonna run the ball. Yeah, but now they old.
Yeah.
We did grab a young boy out of Tulsa. He didn't look bad, but Eric, look,
Yeah, I remember they picked up that other Smith guy too, the rookie. I think what was that, left tackle or left guard?
Tyler Smith.
Yeah,
look, Aaron Donald abused him. 2 sacks. It had the whole Aaron Donald. But that's Aaron Donald. So I'm not mad.
It's like you're saying. It's like if he would have went against the Bosa's, it's something like that. Yeah. When you got them guys like that who can get through the line, you can't get mad.
Hold him. Look, hold him and save your quarterback, because if you don't hold him and he hit that quarterback wrong, the quarterback gonna be out.
Matter of fact, get called for holding. Matter of fact, get called for holding. I'll back you up as a coach.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We'll go from there.
Hold him. Hold Aaron Donald. Yes,
grab his face mask. Grab his jersey.
Whatever it takes. Hand to the face. Hold
all
him.
That. Unnecessary roughness. Whatever you got to do to get him from not hitting your quarterback, that's what you got to do.
That's Aaron Donald. Yes, of course.
I try to tell people that. I'm like, he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year for 2 years straight for no reason and win a Super Bowl.
Like happenstance. Yeah.
That's what gets me. And then the biggest other thing I wanted to let everybody know was just like the number one thing I was kind of looking at is when it comes to this topic about grades. Now, everybody has their different views and opinions about, the grades that, they've watched and grew up with and saw. But I look at it like if the rules didn't change and a lot of the calls didn't change when it comes to certain sports, I kind of feel like these players that we know now, I feel like wouldn't even be able to make it in today's league. That's just my opinion with it, because if you look at how athletic those players were that you grew up with, those Dr. J's and Daryl Dawkins and what's his name? Spud Webb and all them type of guys, and then you look at, these guys moving forward with Vince Carter and LeBron and Kobe and, AI. It's like, I don't think they could have survived, because when you look back then, those were real grown men, back in that era and them time frames with the 70s, 80s. When you look at these 18-year-olds now that's coming out of the league getting drafted, they would get pushed around and smacked around like it was nothing, coming into the league at that time frame.
It's a few different things that that topic even broaches. You mentioned Vince Carter, but you also had Tracy McGrady, you had Michael Jordan.
Now, like you said, so if all the rules were the same, King, like with all them players you named, it's like, could we really have that argument, debate about GOATs?
There are some players that are playing, and I will say right now, I'm not even going to go back to 2010 or whatever. There are some players right now whose game transcends eras. It's not enough of them for us to even count. Because I will say it, I'm glad you're recording this. If Steph Curry played in the 80s, he ain't about to have all them buckets. Man, could you imagine Steph Curry against Joe Dumars? Or Isaiah, where I can actually hand check you? So those players that I watched growing up, they can play now because the rules are a lot more lax. But look, I heard a podcast with Shido, Rasheed Wallace. That's my man. I'm a Carolina fan. I heard him say, yeah, LeBron would have been good, but he wouldn't have been LeBron back then. We'd have knocked LeBron down like we knocked everybody else down. What are you talking about?
Nah, I'm with you, but like you said, it's no way that if Steph Curry, Chris Paul, and those guys went up against Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer and Dennis Rodman.
Let me make you mad. Giannis, his game couldn't translate in the 80s because you traveling. So that's a travel.
But you got to think about it. Now, do you think his physicality could match up with those big centers that were back in the day?
But he wouldn't be nobody's MVP because, son, you are traveling.
Yeah.
That's a travel. That Euro step, son, that's a travel. Mm-hmm. Luka, yeah, that's cute, but that's traveling too.
Yeah. Same thing when James Harden, he does that little step back.
They had a physical makeup where they could have played back then.
Yeah.
But you wasn't about to be in the running for no MVP. Yeah.
But see, I always look at it, King, like those guys that we call the greats right now, I think they would have just been, good average or role players, but I don't think they would have been superstars that they are right now.
I'm not going to say role players now. You don't want to go too far.
Well, let me not say role players. Let me say they would be stars, but they wouldn't be superstars. Right. That's how we look at it.
That was Mike's league. Mike, Pat Ewing, Charles Barkley.
Yeah, because that's what I always tell people. So I always try to say, I'm like, everyone is great in their era, so if everybody played in the same rules, I was like, a lot of people can't really say one person is better than the other, because now we can actually see who's really better in that system that was put down when the game first started. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same thing with quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? If you go back in the day, like, because you grew up, King, with them guys where, you could hit the quarterback and it wasn't an issue. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, if you touch him now, roughing the passer. 15 yards.
I saw Dexter Manley plant Roger Staubach on the AstroTurf, man, like he was a potted plant. I was like, ouch.
And you ain't seen no flags or all. You seen him, Dexter?
Roger struggled to get up. Because you just saw the man sacked Derek Carr, stripped the ball, and got called because he fell on the man. Well, what is he supposed to do? He can't defy gravity. What was he supposed to do? Roll and not touch the man? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So imagine, King, if that play would have happened, in the 80s when them guys playing. That dude, it wouldn't have been nothing. He would have got his little sack he got. They would have had to start right there.
And somebody would have helped Derek on this sideline. They would have gave him a little smelling sauce. You all right?
You good?
He
Yeah, he
went right
just
on back
cracked you.
out.
He just put you on your ass. But yeah, get back out there and do that. And that's why I always try to tell people, because I was like, I can't really say, Rodgers, and I'm not taking nothing away from Rodgers and Brady because they're great, in their era right now. But if they were in that era with them guys like Lawrence Taylor and all them guys and Boulware and Dexter Manley, like you were saying, and Oakley and all them guys, they wouldn't be these stars, superstars.
And I'm not saying like people. I'm not saying they're not good, but they wasn't built like Phil Simms.
They weren't built like Dan Marino and John Elway and what I'm saying. Who was that guy from Buffalo? Jim Kelly. All them guys who take them hits, like that day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they wasn't ready for that. And I'm not mad. They grew up in a different era. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it either. So that's why I always try to tell people, I'm like, oh, that was a tough hit. He shouldn't have hit him like that. I said, man, we've seen tougher hits. I said, if you look at the generation, I said, my parents grew up in, you call this a hit. This is a love tap.
Lawrence Taylor broke Joe Theismann's leg, literally, on a clean hit. Wasn't no flag nowhere. Lawrence Taylor said, man, y'all come get him. I mean, and the thing about it is, I think they played hard, but I think they cared hard. If he was saying, come get him, like, dog, I have really
hurt this man.
Ruined him. Y'all come get him quick.
His career is done. He's not
coming back. Come get him. And look, they rolled it, they tried to golf out there. Yeah, go get him. Yeah, everybody saw it.
But I always looked at it too, King, to probably end off with it. I always looked at it too, like the city and the way people grew up, because you gotta think about it, back in the day when sports was coming out, when they were first introducing it, they weren't making these millions of dollars like these players are now. They were making what? Everybody thought back in the day $100,000. You was the man. You know what I'm saying?
Guys had part-time jobs. I watched some. I think they said Kenny Stabler had a part-time job. Somebody else had a part-time, but they had part-time jobs. This ain't enough.
So you gotta think about King. So I guess you could say, I mean, like I said, you could probably speak for this because, like I said, you were with that generation. Do you think that it meant more to them to play as hard as they did because they knew they weren't, making those millions of dollars that these guys now, are making?
That money ain't guaranteed. Yes, that money ain't guaranteed. You can get cut tomorrow, literally. Yes, so I think it meant more personally, but I think it also meant more financially. Yeah, It means more. Oh yeah. Let's be clear. Yeah,
that's how I always looked at it, because I like, at the end of the day, I was like, man, because if you can imagine these guys now, if they didn't have all these endorsements with Nike and all this other stuff, with all these outside money, it's just like, do you guys really think you go get this amount of money if you played in the 80s with these guys? You'd be just like them, getting the same thing. The only person that be making millions is Michael Jordan, because he had the the name and the clout behind it.
The first cat I remember having a tennis shoe was Dr. J. Had that high top white Converse.
Oh wow, man!
That's the first shoe. And then after that, Larry Bird
and Magic. Didn't they have a shoe?
They had a Converse too. Yeah, the weapon. That's what it was called, a weapon.
Wow.
Yeah. So and you wasn't getting no $1 million with that shoe. We're gonna let you play in this shoe, and you do commercials. We'll pay you whatever.
Yeah, we'll pay you, $20,000, whatever. Do a commercial back then, because that's how much the commercial was worth, and they kind of keep it going from there.
Yeah.
But I always look at it like this. So this is probably be the last topic we'll do. So as far as the Draymond Green thing goes, I kind of feel like with that we can address it, but I just kind of feel like we don't have to go into too much detail. I look at it like this. I'm gonna say my piece with it, and then I'm gonna keep it moving. I feel like at the end of the day, as an organization, you guys are a family. The guy, because back in the day, King, when you were on a team, when those guys were on the team, you didn't really get traded. Those guys were on the team until they either died or they retired. Maybe, from your memory, it's probably a little bit better than mine, but I know that's probably what happened. That's how, I saw the game. If you was on that Lakers team, you was on that Lakers team until you retired or until, you couldn't play no more. So now it's just like, with this organization here with the Golden State Warriors, it's just like those guys are family. Anybody who's playing with you and who goes through those battles with you is family. But I kind of feel like it draws the line when you put your hands on the family instead of discussing the issue or, trying to figure out better ways to resolve the problem that you guys have, because now it shows that if you putting your hands on him, what else are you capable of as my teammate that you would do? I can't really trust you because of what you're showing me outside of basketball. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can I work with somebody who I know has a temper or, anger issues to where I can't even have a conversation with them without, expecting them to raise their hand at me or swing on me or do, whatever, just to, I guess, prove their point or show, how they don't take disrespect. But it's like at the end of the day, you're going to get disrespected because it's the organization you're in. This basketball thing is disrespect on its own, just outside of the game. So I kind of feel like I don't condone what Draymond did because, like I said, I don't know what really happened. But at the end of the day, I'm like, families is going to fight. You know what I'm saying? I think they should keep it in-house, if they're going to do anything with the punishment, and then kind of, keep it going from there, because it's not like it happened during an NBA game when the altercation did happen. It happened, at a practice facility outside of San Fran. So I would always look at it like, hey, y'all going to fight, squash it out. We need y'all to win championships and keep it moving. I would tell Draymond, I would suspend you for the first, 5 to 10 games just to, make a statement that we don't allow, this type of behavior in our organization. And then
he didn't get suspended. He didn't get suspended. Okay. So, Marlon, I've never heard you be so wrong in my entire life. First of all, families do fight. That's the one thing you got right. But families don't punch somebody in the jaw and try to break a jaw. That's number one. Number two, the amount of money that is on the line for Draymond, who wants this $80 million back, so everybody's like, you have a 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Anybody about to give you $80 million for that? And the amount of money that Jordan Poole's about to get is going to take away from Draymond's money. So in my mind, there is nothing that you can say to me to make me walk up to you and get pushed and punch you in your face except money. Now, Jordan Poole averaged 18.5 last year. It was, and I won't say one of the main reasons, but he was very integral in them.
I think he was 6th man of the year. If you're gonna put that hands down.
So why you beef with him? Now, there's a rumor now. I have not verified this anyway. They said Jordan Poole called him a triple single. You a triple single. Everybody else a triple double. You a triple single. 777. That's it. And Draymond got in his feelings. So families do get in their feelings. It would have been different if Draymond would have grabbed him and they went to the ground wrestling. Somebody could break it up. Now you don't walk up to somebody, man, in their personal space. Do not expect to get pushed, and when you get pushed, you punch somebody in the jaw.
But you don't think King he was defending himself because you from the old school, so if somebody walked up to you and pushed you, you don't think you would have reacted, kind of like that?
If now remember how much bigger Draymond is compared to Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he's 6'7". Jordan Poole 6'3". 6'4".
Why he ain't walking to Looney with that? And see, Draymond ain't no fool either. He ain't walking to nobody bigger than him with that foolishness. That's why I know it's something more than just us talking trash in a practice. This ain't never happened before.
Not with you, but I always look at it, King, like I said, like at the end of the day, you're a man at the end of the day. So you don't want another man to disrespect you, especially your space or your area, especially if you can't talk as men and then you got to come and swing on me. All right, now it's an issue.
What could you possibly say to another man to make him swing on you?
Yeah, especially if you're in that organization.
Draymond walked up to him. That man didn't approach.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, King, like I said, these are just rumors. They were saying that Jordan Poole called Draymond a bitch and some other type of stuff, and then walked up on him, and he kept talking, and he got fed up, and that's what happened. That's what I've heard. I'm not saying it's true.
Why that ain't on video? Why the punch the only thing on video? If that, I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Yeah.
If that happened, where's the video for that?
Yeah. But the thing is, what I get mad about is with this organization, you're mad about the video being leaked. That's what made me kind of mad about this whole situation because you're mad at the person for recording what happened instead of being mad at the people that the stuff happened to, at the incident happened. Where it's just like, to me, it's just like that's backwards. You rather punish the person that's showing you that this shouldn't be condoned in this type of organization versus the person who actually did what wasn't supposed to happen. To me, it's just like, come on now, how does that work?
Now, if I'm Draymond or if I'm Jordan Poole, am I passing you the ball? See, that's where I live at.
Yeah.
Man, we trying to repeat.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, am I passing you the ball? Think about it.
Yeah, I mean, but then if you look at it, it's just like, I don't know if you've seen the interview with Curry and Looney and Steve Kerr about the incident. So Steve Kerr was the first one to come out. He said, he says nothing worse than when guys fight on the court. He said, I've been in scuffles back in the day, where guys would come off of the bench and be ready to fight you off of the smallest things. So he's just like, something like this. He said, I don't condone it, but he said, it's not my place to say who's right or who's wrong.
That's because Michael Jordan punched him in his eye.
Yeah, because he said
Michael Jordan punched him in his eye.
Steve Kerr was saying his place, because Steve Kerr was trying to say his place is just a coach, and he was like that's his place. He's basically saying his job is not to be a mediator or a referee. His job is to coach his guys and win championships. So he said whatever they're dealing with for personal issues, he said if that affects the game, then him as a coach will make the right decision or right call. But he said at that time period in practice, he's just like, there's not really much I can really do, but go call security or get somebody to break that up.
I'm a big Steve Kerr the person fan. Based on what he went through when his father got killed, it was with the ambassador.
Yeah, that was.
I'm a Steve Kerr fan. I'm surprised he copped out. That's a cop out.
And then isn't Steve Kerr?
Draymond, you cannot do that. We are a family. We are a team. I don't care how mad you get and what you do. You can't do that. Period.
But then you got to think about it, King. Guess like you said, you're a coach. So if your one of your star players, on that team is upset about something, you're not gonna be like, look, man, I know you pissed about something, but you can't go about it like this. You're one of the key guys that helped us get to these 4 championships.
When Draymond walked up on that young boy, if I'm the coach, I'm going over there. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Yeah, especially as assistant coach or a coach, a head coach,
I'm going over there to get it before it go down. Before Jordan Poole, I'm trying to intervene before Jordan Poole gets to push him and all that.
Because like you said, because even when you heard the name calling, you would have been like, okay, yeah, if he calling him a bitch, there's something going on. Let me step up.
But I mean, and that might just be general language in the practice. I don't know. But when I see Draymond move toward him, I'm going over there. Like, okay, hold on, dog. Hold on. I know you're mad, dog. Hold on, Jordan, man, go on over there.
Yeah, go over there with the practice. Go over there with the other team.
But why didn't any players intervene?
And do you think that a coach told them not to intervene, or do you think that was just the players' progression? I
heard that on the radio today that Draymond just took it too far. That they wanted somebody to check the young boy because the young boy is full of himself. I'm all in.
After coming off of a championship, a lot of times players do that though.
I heard it on the radio today that could have been what happened. That Draymond went too far.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that on NBA Talk
even if I'm the assistant coach, and I done told you like, man, check him. I'm not about to let it go that far because I know Draymond ain't got good sense. I just said I was like, Clay, go check him. Clay got good sense. Clay would have walked over there, chest bumped him. He'd have pushed Clay. Clay was like, man, what you want to do? Threw his hands up. Wouldn't
him been doing that, yeah. But he ain't good. And like you said, I think that the biggest thing I feel like that's what had to happen. It had to be a money issue or it had to be a pride issue.
Yeah, it's about that contract. Because
there's no way.
I think Draymond has like a player option. And I think Jordan Poole has the club option. And Draymond want 4 years, like 80 million, want some kind of max. You're not about to get no. And I can see somebody saying this. Draymond, you the triple single. You not about to get no max for 7-7-7. I'm about to get this max. I got 18, 5, 18, 6, and 3.
Yeah, I was like, we ain't saying we don't appreciate what you did for the organization, but yeah, look at them numbers you had the last few years.
Jordan Poole might have said it. Jordan Poole might have said it.
But no,
you know who can get that cheese.
But no, I look at it, and like I said, the next couple of days, they're going to be talking with the commissioner and the basketball presidents and the owners of the league to see, what's the best way of going at it before the season starts, because they want to make sure that if this happened with this team, they don't want it to happen with any other teams, as far as like altercations or
there's a lot of fights going in practice without cameras.
So they're out there trying to find out easier way. I don't know if they're going to make a rule to where they say you can't have your phones in practices now, or you can't have.
They're going to ban the media. They're going to ban the media. Y'all can't come in because y'all do it too much. Y'all tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all expose us. Like, we can't cuss. We can't come up here and do nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan Poole come out here with a black eye. What happened to him? He fell and hit somebody's knee. Oh, okay.
They're going to run over there. Hey, Jordan Poole, so what happened with the black eye thing? Yeah. I feel hit somebody's knee, dog. It's all good. I'll be out there. I always look at it like whatever whichever decision Adam Silver makes, I feel like he can't base it off of personal feelings. He has to base it off of what works for the NBA and what works for the whole entire league moving forward. Because at the end of the day, if you accept, that's like you can, being, and to end it off with it, that's like you being, a principal and everything. It's like if you allow one kid to fight in the school, then it kind of gives the other kids those ideas that, okay, now
that's how we get down.
That's how we getting down. Cool. He allowed this kid to get away with this. All right, now I know I can get away. So it's just like, it's somewhere along the line, as the leader of the team or the school, you got to figure out what's the best way for this to work, to keep it in-house, but in order to keep things running smoothly so that we can get through a productive season or school year, or however it goes.
You have to make the hard decisions, but you also have to understand that everybody's not gonna be happy with whatever decisions you make.
Mm.
Everybody's not gonna be happy. So I always base it on, well, I'm gonna be happy. So I'm gonna run it by this AP. But man, what you think? I'm gonna run it by this because it's natural to be in your feelings. Because everybody has feelings, but in the same sense, you cannot react based on your feelings. You can't do that. So you had to talk to somebody else. Be like, okay, though, what did you see? Man, this is what I saw. What would you give? I would give A. What did you see? What would you give? And then I always try to go last to get everybody else, because I always went into the meet with my mind made up. Oh, this is what you about to get. Unless somebody can convince me of something differently, oh, this is what you about to get. And a lot of times they be like, man, you doing too much. I gotta go, but I'm gonna give you this story. I was a principal at Wise, and I had this student bring these live chickens into the building.
Wow. Like in a cage or just?
No. And let them go for a senior prank.
Oh, wow.
So I'm literally in the back stairwell by that basketball, by the gym, by the football field.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm talking about 2 and 3 foot tall chickens. I don't know where he got these chickens from. These are not Chick-fil-A chickens.
These are steroid chickens. These chickens are.
These are Bojangles chickens. Yeah, these are Bojangles chickens. Huge. So, I mean, they're on the 3rd floor, so I get them all the way down outside. So I finally get in my office. I was like, man, run the film and bring me whoever did this so I can make them disappear. They ran the film, man. The child was in our mostly impaired wing. But you asked us not to bring these chickens in here. So everybody in my office laughing, that's a good joke, blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there looking at them like, yeah, all this funny. I said, when they said, I said, there won't be no prom, won't be no walk across the stage for him. Everybody was like, what you mean? I was like, what you mean? Did you just see? Did you just see what happened? Oh, but it was a prank. It was a good prank. I don't play like that. Those 5 people in the audience like, come on, man, you're doing too much. I'm like, no, I'm not. 2 foot chickens. I'm trying to get them out the building. You wasn't in there. I know I'm on YouTube somewhere. You might be able to look it up. I know I'm on YouTube. I'm trying to get these chickens. And they're like, you're doing too much. Those 5 people convinced me. I was like, okay. So who gonna make sure that they with him at the prom? And Dr. Grill said, I will. I said, who gonna make sure he don't show off at this graduation when he walk on the stage? Somebody else said, I will. I said, okay. But the point is, you have to listen to everybody else to get their opinion, their feedback about what's the right thing to do.
And I'm with you on that. And like I said, just to close out, like I said, at the end of the day, I think whatever meeting they do decide, because I think the meeting is this Monday coming up. I said whatever they do decide, I hope it's the right decision, because like I said, you don't want to have your other 300 some NBA players looking towards this like this is just okay condoned. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Because if that's the case, that means you can start bringing weapons to practice. That means you can start doing this to practice.
It's the Wild Wild West. Remember Gilbert Arenas and the little boy talking about they about to shoot each other?
Exactly. So it's like if you don't put something in practice where at least you have security or somebody there at least to keep the peace. But since the coaches ain't gonna do it, then it's just like, where do we go from here?
It's the Wild Wild West.
That's how I look at it. But guys, this is the end of our show. We love you guys. We thank you guys. We appreciate you guys, coming and checking our show out, and letting us know what you guys think, and just giving us your own feedback of everything. Because we get into these topics because we feel that at the end of the day, there's always a right way of doing things in any sport. Because at the end of the day, we want these players and organizations to have fun, but have fun in a way, that makes it fun for everybody, who's playing and who's, part of the team. So with that being said, continue to follow, to continue to support. We'll have more further shows coming soon, with better topics to give you guys and more interesting topics that we can elaborate on, and just continue to support and let's continue to, be the difference, out here.
Hey, Marlon, one thing, everybody needs to be productive, not destructive.
I'm with you.